Welcome back to another episode of Comedy Luxembourg's finest metal podcast. And today I'm very pleased to have Asira with me, the whole band. For once I have a whole band on the show. That's kind of a new thing for me, and very excited to do that. So thank you very much for being here, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Very excited to be here.
Very great. I mean, first of all, I have to say, I didn't know Asira at all. Okay, you guys were kind of like my biggest discovery of 2025 with the record As Ink in Water, and even more pleased that you guys are here today. So, how are you guys been
great.
So far, by the way?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good. It's a nice rainy morning here in Britain.
Obviously, right?
Yeah, it usually is. Yeah.
The usual. So, how's the year been starting for you? I mean, obviously the record dropped last year, but has it like settled down, the whole like releasing the record and getting the reviews and celebrating the whole thing? Has it like settled down a bit, or still reviews and?
I think it has. You know, there's still like bits of excitement and interest and interviews and stuff like this bubbling away, but it definitely feels like that November rush is behind us, and then we had a nice relaxing Christmas, and now it's a bit more business as usual again.
Business as usual, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, when we look at like As Ink in Water, that was like, to me personally, I'll just say it straight away, it was a big shock. I was not expecting, especially like for it's a prog death metal, black gazy kind of thing that you guys are doing, but like for the uninitiative and those who don't know, how would you describe Asira? Because again, for me, it came totally out of the blue. Never heard his name, so that was very, very pleasing discovery for me. On how would you like promote yourself towards people who don't know Asira?
I guess we're primarily a band that focuses on emotion above all else, and the songs follow that script to the letter. You know, we're not trying to box ourselves into any specific genre. We just want the emotion to be the standout feature, so if you like feeling feelings, then you probably will like us.
That's why I'm here today. you know. I mean, the first song I heard, I mean, obviously I caught up a bit later, like probably just after the record released, and the first song I heard was Still. It got recommended to me. So that's like the one really out of the box, right? It's the closing track, and is like maybe the most complex one in terms of feelings and emotions, right? So, and that, as you said, that was a roller coaster of and a very different approach to, as you mentioned, tons of emotions and tons of color.
Yes, yeah.
So, which gives this whole thing a whole other ambience, let's say.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really important that we use metal as a compositional tool rather than like just what we are, you know, and that's very evident in a song like Still, where, you know, 2/3 of it is not metal at all, and then there's the big climax where it all the emotions come out, if you like, at the end, and not being afraid to just explore gentle tenderness, I suppose, is a word I would use for that song specifically. And also like kind of elation and hope. Like the metal sections, some of them, you know, Cauterize, for example, is extremely dark. But a lot of them on the record are not meant to be dark at all. They're meant to be powerful, emotive, celebratory, kind of hopeful experiences rather than you know, the darker side of metal. And I think that's something that is not too often explored, and something that really excites me personally about metal.
It's true. It's pretty, nowadays I feel it's very uncommon to, or I feel there's like this obligation, or if it's like of like record labels or whatever, you have to be emotional even though you don't want to be, and this feels very natural, I think, the way you portray especially the latest record, and the songs are very cohesive in terms of it's kind of like, I would maybe like compare it to a working day. You know, it starts off pretty bad, then it gets better at the end of the day. You know, kind of at an extreme level, right?
A journey through the album.
Yes.
A lot of it, as Martin says, is about quite dark things, quite traumatic things. But in the same way that Martin says, we use the extreme sounds and the extreme textures to amplify positivity as well as negativity, you do have that sort of journey from the way it starts through to the way it ends, with Still, the track you mentioned, being frankly a celebration of love.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, 100%. It's I think it's such a great like anthem, and even like if like, because I promoted you as well as I could for over this podcast and stuff.
Yeah,
and
thank you. We
ended
really
up
appreciated that. Thank
number
you so
2.
much.
Okay, I could not put you in number 1 though, but it ended up in my top 10 nonetheless. And
we'll take it.
well,
Yeah.
great.
Number 2 is fine. I like
Great,
that.
because I had a few people like reaching out to me, and they were like, "Who's this Asira band? Never heard of them." It's because it sounds like a main character in a Mortal Kombat game, to be fair. So that was the first feedback I got, and I was like,
I absolutely love that. I think we need that as our new tagline.
"Yeah, well,
Yes.
maybe change the logo, like in a Mortal Kombat kind of style for merch and stuff."
We are very influenced by video game music, so that
Yeah,
goes.
one can tell. I mean, I could definitely hear some Final Fantasy stuff going on.
Yeah.
Oyama, no, what's his name? Nobuo Uematsu stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Hints here and there. So, but anyway, I told this guy, I told him, you know what? I'll send you a song, and I sent him the one I discovered. So it was Still, and he was like, "Huh, this is way too soft for me, but I still like it." So, I think that's the whole roundup about Asira. It's kind of like, it's not metal, but kind of it is, if I might say so. You know?
I think that's it. Like I wouldn't describe us really as a metal band. We are just a band that is unafraid of extreme music.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
I think it makes sense. Yeah.
We're more, I guess, more of a rock band that has elements of black metal.
Yes.
And
Kind of.
is unafraid to explore extreme sounds within perhaps more of a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Personal?
Like
I mean,
a softer approach, but with extreme moments of pure like elation or anger or whatever it is that we're exploring in that track, or that moment, actually, because several tracks explore different things across their runtime as well.
Yeah, obviously, I keep talking about Still, but we have other bangers. Even so, if they're not like considered bangers for standard metal listeners, definitely not. But they are filled with details and a lot of different like layers. I mean, you guys, even though such a small band, if I might say so, the wall of sound kind of created with less mass, but more expression and more color. Again, I like to use the term color because that fits so well, first of all, with the cover, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and the whole aspect. It's a very washed through record. But was that, I mean, that was one of my questions here. Was that ever like the concept for As Ink in Water? Being like, as you said, going on a discovery, trying out different things. Was there more, even like a more conceptual?
So actually, the original idea for As Ink in Water conceptually came from a really, really difficult period in my life shortly after we released Efference. In fact, possibly during the release cycle of Efference, where basically I just had a complete mental health meltdown and I just couldn't cope with life at all. And so that was when I started writing Silence of Mind, which is a sort of exploring that those feelings and being essentially like terrified of all of that, all of those emotions and all of those feelings that I was experiencing, and not being able to express myself and not being able to express anything at all, really, other than through silence, through being just absolutely unable to say or do anything. So that was the first one. Cauterize then came after that, which was essentially anger. Initially, I wrote that song about being very, very, very angry about all the mental health experiences. Then Jack added in the element of the sexual assaults within the lyrics, which was fantastic, and really brought that anger to a head, I think, which was a really interesting exploration of hatred and anger. And then Still actually was the kind of the acceptance track, which was when I was kind of I wrote that as I was kind of learning to accept who I was, and accept the feelings that I was experiencing, and I guess started to learn to love myself, but also feel the love from other people, my wife and these guys here as well. So that was kind of like the initial concept, but it kind of, it went further
out, yeah.
As I say, with Cauterize, there was more added to it, and then the other two tracks again just explore humanity, I suppose, through different lenses. Overall, I guess the whole concept of the record is exploring all the elements of being human. Well, not all of them, because you couldn't do that, but many different elements of being human. That's.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that there was no deliberate plan at the start to say it's going to take this journey, it's going to start feeling like this, and it's going to end up feeling like this. The only deliberate intention that we had going into this album was that we would create something authentic and something that's based off our lives, our experiences, what we learn about ourselves. And if that's happened to produce a journey which becomes more positive and more uplifting as it goes, then that's because that's the journey we took as individuals.
Like a journey, like, let's say, a process of healing, kind of.
Yes.
For every individual one.
Very much. I think that is, and that's what at least I was going through personally when with the record was written. Yeah.
It's a very, like, again, we got so many metal bands, rock bands who emphasize on the personal aspect and everything, but I feel like for this kind of record, for me, I had the experience. I did not skip a song. I when I heard Still first, okay, I have to listen to the whole thing. I started at the beginning, and usually, you know how that feels. You're invested in the record, and sometimes you doze off. You can't notice every single detail. But this got me so invested. I think I had to literally sit down and don't turn on anything else except the music, and just like listen to what was going on there. And I think I understood at the end of Still. I said, "Oh, this is freaking personal." Even though I don't understand the whole concept, obviously, because you don't pronounce it like here and there, but still, it's a freaking personal record. And I think that's one of the reasons why it ended up so high in my list, because I love this kind of music, especially in the proggy way, let's say. But you say it ended with Still, and it ended with the good stuff. Where do you go from here? I mean, this was obviously not your first intention to produce a record that was hitting so hard, and I think the reactions also overall, I saw several reviews, are probably overwhelming, to be fair.
The reaction's been incredible, especially from sites like Angry Metal Guy, where they just loved it, which is a personal achievement, I think, of ours to be successful there. So
difficult to
it's
say,
hard
right?
to say, really. It's I don't know if you looked at the release date of our debut album, but it's there was quite a big gap.
Yes.
And I think that in part is because of that journey I described, right? It's not it's music has never been something where we can just sort of sit down and turn it on and get a song. It is always a response to what's going on for us in our lives. So it really does depend what comes next. And it's very hard to plan around that, really.
Yeah,
of course. But again, I mean, you're not none of us, or most of us out there, are not professional musicians that we can live off that, sadly enough. But at least it gives you like an idea that I think, as Ink and Water has like touched so many people in good and in bad ways, I might say. Because again, you described it with the two vibes going on, the good and the bad, like fighting each other, and at the end the acceptance part. But you think people will, like, because of specifically this record, obviously they will ask for more. I would like to know more, if not in the near future though, because I think after this it will be, obviously you need some time to cool down and then get some things running and stuff. But the fire is on, I might say, right? The urge to the
Sure,
wave.
yeah.
You're on the wave now, I might say. You know, on the riding the wave, and I think
for me the most important thing is keeping that artistic element, right, where we are influenced by the world around us and how we are feeling, and I don't want to force a song. This band has never been forced. It's always just happened because it's an expression of where we are in our lives at that point in time, and I think anything that we did try to rattle off quickly, you know, because it was successful or whatever, would sound forced and fake, and I'm afraid of that. So it needs to come from a real place, and that might happen tomorrow, or it might happen in 5 years, or it might happen when I'm 70. You know, and I'd like to think that there will be another Asira record, and we'll see when it happens, I guess.
I might even add on. I am pretty much convinced, even though I'm sure there will be, but it will not sound like anything similar that you've done until now. Pretty much convinced about that.
Yeah, so, yeah, quite likely.
Yeah, difficult question. I know.
It's not something we've discussed.
Of course, things like this.
That does ring true.
Well, I think it depends on the direction of the world as well. I think if the world starts to heal, then maybe we'll make a soul record, and and if it doesn't, then maybe we'll just make a fucking horrendous black metal record. We'll see.
Okay. I'm happy with either of those.
I think you handle it both ways very well, to be fair.
Oh, thank you. Perhaps we need to do both. That's the thing. Yeah.
That would be a thing, though. I mean, I personally enjoyed the slower parts on the record, to be fair. So maybe an acoustic record, who knows? Doing a few hints here, but then I like the fact that, and I mean, obviously you still promote the record as good as possible via reels and everything on social media and stuff. Yeah. And I like the term that I think you guys came up with the term Enya metal.
Yeah,
yes.
That was actually our friend Dan, who I was in a band with years ago. He's one of my best friends. In a band with him, and we were hanging out, and we were putting together some reels, doing some video editing, and I was like, oh, what text hook can we put on this one? And I think it was a video of my wife Lydia singing over blast beats, and he was just like, oh, it's Enya gaze. And I think he said it as a joke, and then I was like, but if I scrolled down social media and saw that, you would stop.
Yeah.
And that's what the text hook is all about, right? We've got to get people to stop the scroll. So
100%.
Yeah. I think it's been ridiculed, and I think it's been loved, which I'm here for.
That means you've got it right, definitely.
100%. You got it right. I mean, exactly the same for me. Yeah. You see the term Enya metal, you're like, Enya, wait, that rings a bell. That was like ages ago. Does she still do music? And then metal? Huh? What is going on? You know, but like. Okay, you obviously draw also like inspiration. I'm sure Enya is. We all know the atmosphere that this Enya created years back.
We all grew up watching Lord of the Rings and watching Aragorn and Arwen on a bridge making out to Enya, and that.
Yeah, that's true. Was that Enya? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Okay. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. You got to rewatch Lord of the Rings now, man.
Again. For the 100th time, probably.
And just
extended version.
Blast beats behind.
Extended version, right? As one must.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's not. I mean, obviously, in the mainstream musical industry, there's not much place for atmospheric music. Obviously, how would you guys like see yourselves fitting into this whole musical world? Obviously, there's so much going on in the UK anyway. There's a lot of great like metal bands, well-known, mainstream, whatever. But where does Asira fit into all of that? Or is that like we don't really necessarily care? It's none of our business. The music is what is the most important at the end of the day.
I mean, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. Really, I never set out when I started writing it for it to fit into a box. For me, it's just a culmination of the things that I love when I'm writing, it's just a combination of the things that I love in music: atmosphere, big hooks, emotion, powerful moments, but so those powerful moments actually hit rather than just kind of be a wall of sound that doesn't do anything for me. Like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of for fans to decide where we fit in some way.
I mean, it's an interesting question, because I do think that both can be true. Yeah,
and there's certainly moments that are, you know, very mainstream friendly, like big hooks, for example. You know, we love our big hooks, don't we? It's just got to get into the right ears, I suppose.
Yeah, but that's even more difficult nowadays. I feel with everybody, including myself. I mean, I discovered only, like, even though I've been playing guitar my whole life, I only discovered recently that, I can actually write music, and I can write it here in this same place. You know, it's so, people are so we are so connected nowadays, and we can actually write wherever we are, whatever we want to, without like booking a studio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you don't have any, like, still you have limitations, but it's way less than 30 years back or 20 years back.
Oh yeah.
So again, for a band to stand out or get into the right ears is
it's
I will not say impossible, but
it's a monumental task.
Yes.
And for certainly for a band like us as well, where, you know, we are often too light for a lot of people and too heavy for a lot of people, right? So it's finding people who are open to both sides of the coin, which it is a challenge, and is proving to be a challenge, you know. I think certainly there are people that just get it, like perhaps yourself included, and there's way more people that just don't. And that's fine, you know. We're not going to compromise on our artistic visions to try and appease to what people want, because I'm not
the
interested
key,
in that.
right?
I guess that's just where we are with it, you know.
Yeah, I think that if you're an unknown or a small band, then a lot of the time, to bring in new fans, you almost are relying on the branding that exists for the genre that you're representing. So you can stop that scroll, you can get your hook if you are locking in on, this is our genre. If you're already like this, then you'll like us. And if you're a band like us that sort of sits, I don't want to say it's a new genre or something completely novel, but it is a kind of, it's its own combination of disparate things, then that sort of puts you at a bit of a disadvantage, because you can't just rely on, well, people who like black metal will like us, so we'll build that into our imagery, and then we'll bring all the blows fans here, because 90% of them won't be here for it. It's true. A double-edged sword, though, because that uniqueness, that sort of difference, can make you really, really stick in the heads of the people who do get it and who it does click for.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think we'd rather have, 1,000 super fans than 1 million casual listeners.
True. I mean, otherwise you would just put, let's just call it, because you get compared to Opeth. I mean, pretty obvious, but it's not Opeth. Come on. And I will not say Opeth is better, but I can get why. Because usually back in the days when I started listening to metal, Opeth was like the sleeping pill of metal. You know, you had like the extreme and the extremely soft side. So combining these two for them was done at the right time. But nowadays, again, as you said, gatekeeping also does not help at all with all these things. Like just having an open mind, like listening to new stuff, and discovering new bands. But I feel, as you said, like you have like 20 or 30 extreme fans who adore whatever you do because they get it. They get the whole concept. It's way easier and more comfortable for you, and also to continue with the band and write new music, obviously. So another question I had was obviously the artwork cover.
Yes.
Give me some details. That was on point, even though there's not much of a detail, but there's a lot of color again.
Oh yeah. I really love the artwork. It's a artist called Scott Naismith, who he actually painted the artwork that we used for our first album as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we love that so much. We really see this one as like a continuation of that, similar kind of color palette, obviously a similar style. slight similarities in the setting,
Yeah.
but there's a bit of evolution there. You've got this sort of this frozen lake kind of feel going on, and maybe an element of danger, something a little bit darker about that.
A bit more ominous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
And this record generally is, although it's probably softer in many ways, it's darker in tone. So we felt that really fit.
It's a freaking great artwork cover. I mean, again, it stands out because it's so colorful.
Right.
In the whole black metal or death metal aspect. There's color in death metal, but not pointy. It's not pointy enough, or sharp enough, one might say. But it fits the vibe. But would you guys again? I'm going all over the place here, but you said it yourselves. It's an expression of you guys, the music you portray. Obviously, would this be a thing to portray live? Is that?
We have played live. We've played probably over a dozen gigs over the last sort of decade or so, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So not prolific at all. But I think we'd love to play live again, but it would need to be the right show. We've all played our fair share of shit shows, right? And we're all at a stage in our lives. I mean, certainly I am in a stage in my life where I want it to be good. I want it to be worth my time. I have very little time. I'm a dad. I have a full-time job, so it needs to be worth it. I think that it will happen ultimately, but we just have to wait for the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think if we were going to take this back to the stage, or if we were going to put together a tour or something like that, we'd almost approach that as its own project, like sitting down to do the next album. We'd want to make it an experience in its own right. We'd want to make it its own journey. It would be an excuse to get another painting from Scott, I'm sure. and yeah, if we did it, it would be a big investment for us. I'm not sure when that might happen, but it's definitely interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm. And would there be let's assume there would be even though it maybe just a UK tour or whatever, are there some fellow bands or artists that you will maybe we can get these ones to open for us or stuff like that? Because I know that there's a ton of new bands in the UK, especially in the prog area. So I'm sure you have your favorites and your bands that you kind of look up to and like what
Certainly.
they do.
Yeah, most of them aren't British.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the problem.
I think one band that stands out to me is a band called Trist. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Trist.
Yeah.
Just the name maybe here and there, but I haven't heard anything. Yeah.
So they would be a really great fit for us, I think. And they are. I think they're Irish. So there's still a C between us, but
still close. Kind of close.
One.
Yeah.
I think we would go well together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also think the band that we didn't mention by name. Mountainscape is the name of Ethan's band with our friend Dan, and I think that would be a really cool pairing as well. It's instrumental, a bit more soundscapey, I suppose. That could be a really, really nice set.
And very hard
for an
work.
audience.
Yeah.
I'm here for make him work.
Mountainscape is great. It's great.
All right.
But then again, it's even more difficult if you look at Mountainscape playing instrumental. That is not for. I don't know many people who are hooked to instrumental music, sadly enough.
Yeah, not enough.
That's even more difficult, But it would be the right fit, to combine these two and promote the whole aspect for sure.
Yeah, I think that would go down very well. It would be an amazing show.
And internationally, what would you say are the bands? Obviously, we said it, Opeth and stuff, but who are your favorite artists in terms of where do you draw your inspiration from? I would like to do something similar than that, but in my own style, obviously.
So it spans a wide variety of genres. I think actually one of the biggest inspirations for this record is a choral composer called Eric Whittaker, who writes a cappella choral music predominantly, although he does a lot of orchestral stuff. So huge influence from him and his harmonies as well. On the sort of the more metal sphere, I suppose, obviously you've said Opeth, Alcest are a big one. And then more extreme stuff for me, bands like Strapping Young Lad, who were a huge influence, especially for the song Cauterize, which you can probably hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I did. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And Devin's solo stuff as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you can hear in it.
Yes.
And then, like video game music as well was a big inspiration. So guys like Nobuo Uematsu, who you've already said, Gareth Coker, who wrote the score for the Ori games, was a huge influence. If you listen to any of the music in Ori, then you will hear Still, like immediately, I think.
I will do that after this interview. I will go check it out.
Yeah. And
Austin Wintory as well.
Austin Wintory, really good. Wrote the score for Journey.
Yeah.
And Abzu is an incredible score.
Also, yeah.
And then other bands, going back to bands, Lydian Collective were a big inspiration. They're kind of like a.
I need to write that down. There's so many I don't know.
They're not metal. They're a jazz band.
That's fine.
Instrumental, but very very soundtracky. Did an incredible record called Adventure. Back in, I want to say 2017, which was quite a big inspiration. Ethan, Jack?
I think there's one element that you've not really touched on there. Well, it's sort of in Opeth, is the quite soulful blues guitar kind of playing. Tedeschi Trucks band, that sort of thing.
Trucks, yeah.
Sounds like a lot of things that I don't know. I have to really get my get into the game now, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're bringing the non-metal stuff. I mean, obviously,
that's great.
All the metal bands, you know.
Obviously,
I've been on a Children of Bodom binge this weekend because of their shows last week.
Yes.
So, fucking hell! Oh my god, so good. Anyway, sorry.
That's fine. I mean, there's no strict rule here. We talk all around over the place here, so that's more than fine. But you mentioned it now. Obviously, sound. You talked about soundtracks and stuff. Like you draw a lot of inspiration from that. I honestly, and that's my honest opinion here, I could very well, even though it's like very far away, I could see maybe like a short film stuff that would be customized to Asira music. Is that a thing? Because I feel like nowadays there's a lot of bands that take this step a bit further and they write harsh music in terms like metal or a mixture of metal music and ambient music for like movies and stuff. Is that like maybe a dream?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a dream, I think, to write soundtracks. For me personally, I don't know about you guys.
I think it would be a really interesting and quite a different creative challenge. Yeah, that would be very, very exciting to try.
So the intro track on Efference, all those years ago, that was actually I didn't actually write that for Asira, and initially I wrote that as a soundtrack for a short film. For an animation. It's really, really short. It was like a university project. And then about 6 months later, I was like, well, let's just use this as the intro track for Reference because it sounds like it works for Asira. So yeah, it's already happened, I suppose, in that respect.
I'm getting a lot of details today. I like it, but great. I mean, because again, I feel that's like a whole different, as you said it, like Jack said it, it's a whole different approach to writing music for if it's an animation, short movie, or even like a music video that is like, let's say, a 20-minute long music videos like they used to do in the 80s, you know, like Thriller and stuff. I could definitely see that working for Asira in the future, like to really, even though it's a huge budget, to be fair.
I mean, I would love that. And we initially looked at hiring Jess Cope. Is it Jess Cope? Yeah, Jess Cope.
Yeah.
Who did who's done an awful lot of incredible animated music videos. But the standout one for me is The Raven That Refused to Sing by Stephen Wilson, which is it's an astonishing song, but as a piece of art,
it's the whole envelope is
it's
perfect.
exceptional, and it just matches it absolutely perfectly, as you say. So we did initially look at her, and then we were like, not sure we've quite got the budget for that.
Yeah, we don't make money as musicians, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right. Great talk so far, guys. I have one more question for you, but that's obviously, again, I pulled it out of my pocket like 5 minutes before we started. Give me 5 records that you would take on a deserted island. You could only choose 5.
Okay.
I hate to do that, but
Wow.
sometimes the answers are just insanely good, and so many things that I didn't know, or so that's kind of my go-to question nowadays.
City, Strapping Young Lad.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Difficult. Yeah, I know.
It's really hard. I would throw in, I think, Defenders of the Faith by Judas Priest.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ethan.
Oh, let's do 3 then. Let's spare you guys some time and struggle. You know. Ethan, last one.
I'm gonna say Black Medium Current by Dodheim's Guards. That was a cracking album, but it's all over the place.
Okay.
Lots to take them out.
The thing is, it's always like I get so many people. I ask this question. They're like, "But how do you even choose that? You can't really choose anything. There's so much that we have listened to our whole lives."
I guess for me, it goes back to the emotion, right?
Yeah.
And I always feel so powerful when listening to City, and I just want to feel like that all the time. So, you know.
Help you survive on an island.
Especially
a island.
Yeah, a deserted island. You have to survive and be strong.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And Devin is a good choice. What did I choose? I think I also had like a Devin Townsend record on mine. Was it? I think it was Transcendence. I think.
Nice.
Because, again, one of the first records I heard of him, a bit late though, I was very late to the party with Devin Townsend. But the song Higher especially, that was like,
Yeah.
blew me away. Great, but I think I have all my questions here. We are done. We are done. Great.
Well, that was really fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
Thank you very much, all of you guys, for joining today and sharing all of this. We will make sure here to support Asira as you should out there. You should all check out Asira. We'll put everything in the link below and buy some merch. Look out for future concerts, right? I'll know it first, obviously. I'll let you know. No worries.
Yeah.
In any case, thank you very much, guys. And hear you very soon again, I guess.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Great.
Thank you very much.
See ya.